Hey friend, and welcome into my channel. I'm really excited because I'm going to be doing my first ever product review. Now, I've done product reviews behind the chair all the time because I get new stuff from the beauty supply and I try it on clients to see how I like the performance of them, just because it's fun to try some new stuff. But I have never purchased something so expensive as far as a comb goes. So I'm really excited to do some comparisons because I do have something that's similar that is still a little bit pricey, but I was actually sent this by the company, not the one that I'm reviewing today, but we'll just see kind of how it works and if it is a, good thing or if it's a flop. We'll just see. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of impressive for me. I really like the way that this looks right now. I opened it and it definitely made me feel some type of way, like those giddy, when you graduate beauty school or maybe you're in beauty school and you just love to get all the things you see that are super cool, but really super far out looking, you're like, that looks like some crazy insane tool and everyone's saying that I should buy it, so I should. Well, I have actually never seen this on Instagram or any social media platform. I have seen it in Facebook ads. So Facebook made me buy this. So I'm gonna open it and hopefully it's just as cool as the packaging right now, because I will definitely say that the packaging is pretty legit. So on the back we've got right here, it says, a new professional hair coloring tool designed to create effortless blended multi-dimensional color effects. Reduced teasing and weaving, that's a positive time. Save time and effort. So I do like that. Material is, I cannot pronounce the first word. Anti-static. I can pronounce the first word. I just had to look at it for a second. Chemical and heat resistant nylon plastic, and the color is matte black. Oh, there's also a QR code. So if you wanted to watch a tutorial, you could. And the link is there if for some reason your phone's like mine and doesn't like to pop up the link to tap the QR code. This product is intended for professional use by hair colorists and stylists. So that's awesome. Let's be honest. If anyone can buy it without putting their license information in, then you're definitely going to have people who are unlicensed that are going to purchase it. That's just the truth. But it could still be a pretty awesome comb. So those are just first thoughts. Packaging is cool. I like that everything is kind of minimalistic on the back. So I definitely like it. More towards the like. Let's see how it performs though. So I'm assuming that this is a tab that I can just lift up and then it's going to make it easier to open this. Nope. That's not what it is. Oh my gosh. And it's one of those that's really hard to open. And I really don't want to bust this open like crazy because I want it to look nice while I'm doing it. But I think you have to pull the tab up right here actually, because there's no other way to do it. Oh, and if I rip this box. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is a tab and you pull it like this. So you actually do have to rip the box. Oh, that makes me sad. That makes me very sad. Okay. And then if you rip it straight, which you don't, then you open it like this. Okay. And it says, what does it say? I can't read upside down. There is nothing more rewarding than to see IRO in good hands. Thank you. I like that. That's nice. A little welcome kind of message. Thank you message. So, and again, pointing to the tutorial, if you have a issue with using it, you can still do the step-by-step directions. They've got the guide there, and they also want you to tag them on Instagram, of course, which is fantastic. Okay, so it's just slightly out of its little place, but we're going to pretend that it was there. I do like the nice little, insert that it's in. I don't like that I had to tear it. That kind of hurts me a little bit because I'm not going to lie, this had a great opportunity to be able to keep it in here, but now the box is torn and I must throw it away. So I'm going to take it out. Surprisingly very, very light for how big it is because it is very, very large. Kind of cool looking, not gonna lie. I feel like, I don't know if you watched Forged in Fire, but I definitely feel like one of the judges right now. The balance is a little bit heavy towards the front. Would be good to have a little more in the back. So it's a little bit heavy towards the front, I definitely feel a very slight tweaking on my wrist, not anything crazy. It is pretty surprisingly light, especially if you grab it from this side. It's pretty big, but it's also very cool looking. The only thing I'd worry about are these breaking, because they're pretty dang long right here, and they move a lot. Play some music on it. But I do think it's interesting how deep these teeth are. So I'm going to grab my teasing comb in comparison. So my teasing comb, the teeth are quite a bit shallower, and these teeth are just a little messed up because I've used this teasing comb for a really long time. This is like my go-to, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about this. But it is quite a bit deeper. I mean, the teeth, it looks like it's almost 2 times the length of these teeth, and they're not as fine. They're also thicker too, right down here. You can always tell in the difference in the sound. There's something about this. Music to my ears. So thoughts on that. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not like it. I'm just going to have to use it to see, because I've never worked with something like a teasing comb, which from what I've seen in the tutorial, that's pretty much what they use this for, because I wouldn't want to necessarily comb the hair with it, especially with this thing sticking up, just waiting to stab my client, which I hit them enough with the blow dryer as is. If you do it one time, if you knock them one time, that's okay. You don't have to acknowledge it. If you do it again, then you have to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. So with this comb, final thoughts just on it as a tool right now, definitely a little bit heavy towards the front, and it seems like these could break fairly easily with long-term use. Maybe not the first application, second or third, but long-term use possibly. And this comb, I bought it discounted. It was about $32, I believe. But when I first saw it in Facebook ads, it was like 45 bucks. And that's a lot of money for just a comb, especially a comb that maybe doesn't have a lot of lastability. So I use a tool that's very similar to this, the 3D balayage comb, and I use it all the way on Instagram in my technical videos in Lumiere University. I use it all the time. I know that it lasts really, really well. It's super light, and it's in a pick form. This is it right here. So it's extremely light. I'd probably say, as far as weight goes, well, I am a colorist and I've got a scale, so let's just weigh it. So my prediction is that it's going to be about half. The 3D balayage comb, I think, is going to be 2 times lighter than the IRO comb. So let's see how much the tried and true Champ 3D balayage comb weighs. It is 12, wait, okay, let's give it a second to think. Okay, it's 13 grams. So you got 13 grams here. Ooh, okay, now that I'm feeling this again, I think it could possibly more. Let's just see. Ooh, 34, 33. Okay, so it is 20 grams heavier. So it's, what is that? 2.5 times? I don't know. I can't do math like that in my head. Okay, I just know that it's 20 grams heavier. What am I? I'm a hairstylist. I'm not a mathematician. So now we know how heavy both of these combs are. This one's a lot heavier than this one. I mean, even just picking it up right now and just like twirling it around and stuff, I'm like, oh, nice and even. This one, I'm like, I'm waving a flag. It's totally like, you get a spinner. You're gonna go to football games, wave my IRO comb. This thing is heavy. And just to see how much the rat tail comb is, which I'm guessing is going to be maybe a little bit lighter than, like a little bit lighter than the 3D balayage comb. So for reference, you can see a normal rat tail comb is only about 10 grams. The 3D balayage comb is, well, it wants to be 13. And then this Godzilla thing is, well, it wants to be 33 there. Oh, okay, it added an extra gram. My scale likes to mess with me. It does this during classes too. It's like, you have 20 grams of toner. Just kidding, you've got 22 grams of toner. So now that we know how much both of these tools weigh, let's see what the performance is on an actual head of hair. Let me introduce you to Emma. She's got great hair. I've got some doll heads that have some pretty gnarly hair, but Emma's got great hair, and she's definitely my favorite doll head to use for coloring. And the plan is to do a review on the Emma by Hair Art, so you can see if you're looking for a really great doll head, then this is definitely going to be your girl. So I've already actually done an entire color surface on Emma with a root shadow, so you can see that she's kind of rooted here. But I did this all with the 3D balayage comb. No teasing, none of that. And you can see how pretty and blended it is. I love using that tool for big surfaces, small surfaces. It makes things a lot faster. So let's see how the IRO comb is in comparison to our 3D balayage comb. I'm just gonna do it how I saw them do it in the Facebook ad. So how they did it was they just picked up some hair, and the section looked fairly thick. So this is comparable to a section that I would take with my 3D balayage comb, and I'm going to just brush through, make sure that it's nice and wide. So you obviously want width for this with how wide these teeth are. Maybe not that wide. That's a little difficult to control for me. But I'm just going to take it, and then what you do is you just insert it into the middle of the hair, and you press down like that. And from what I saw, you stick your tail comb in there and make it go away, that hair. So that's what it looks like right now when I pull it up. And if you wanted a finer section, you would press down again. I mean, super diffused at the root, for sure. And I know 100% if I was to highlight this and then brush the rest of the hair through, it would blend super seamlessly. I mean, you can kind of see like these pieces right here that are out. Those would be all highlighted and dimensional as you pull the hair in. I mean, you can see the ones I'm holding still. You can see them separating a little bit. The only thing that I would worry about with this comb is getting even highlights. Because when I pulled this hair up, and just from what I felt, you actually have to hold it fairly loose in your fingers. Because if you hold it super tight, then it's not going to go through like at all. Like I'm pinching it right now, and it won't go through and do the separation. So what you actually need to do is you need to hold it fairly loose in your fingers, but to where you can still control it, and then get that separation. Insert your comb right here and pull that hair out the rest of the way, and it should look like that, which is pretty comparable, I would say, to the 3D balayage comb. So the other way that I saw them do it is they take the hair, and this is the teasing way. If you wanted to tease, they take the hair like this and they insert it, but then instead of dropping it out, you put the comb in and you push it all the way up like that, which I mean is pretty dang teasy. So the way that this would actually be beneficial is if you still want to get some of those ends lightened. So this would be, I think, comparable to doing just a regular tease, which I'm just gonna do a regular tease right now. So a regular tease, the way that I like to do it, I kind of step in the hair like this, and it helps with brushing the hair out. So one thing I like about teasing like this versus the other way is you can see that the nest is neater, and I typically do this with my regular bent rat tail comb. So this definitely teases well, especially if you have maybe a thicker section. Then the teeth being this deep, it does a good job. Where this, if I pull it over, and I could definitely make it a little bit better as far as like making sure that it's like pushed down all the way. But to me, this looks like it would hurt a lot more to brush it out. Let's just see what the comparison is between the two. And normally I use a brush instead of a comb. So that was that one. Didn't take me too long, and that's my favorite way to tease the hair if you do actually have to tease the hair. But let's see what it is for this one, if it would be easier or more difficult. I mean, I'm a little heavy-handed, and Emma is, she's really not tender-headed, so she's okay with me abusing her like that. I will definitely say that the way that I regularly tease it felt like it was easier to brush out than with the IRO comb and pressing it forward. But I do like the original way. I wouldn't necessarily do that to tease, but I do like the original way of grabbing it, holding it a little bit looser at the ends. You have to be able to, have a little bit looser tension here. So you want to be able to like get it to where it can actually push that hair through. So I do like that it's just a different way to do it. So I just pressed it down. You can see that there's kind of like a loop of hair here, and then you just insert your comb there and pull that hair out. So I do actually like that. I think that it's really nice and neat and clean. I would pull out some of these baby hairs if I were to actually highlight it. But I actually am kind of impressed with it. Now, the tried and true tool that I use all the time for this would be the 3D balayage comb. So let me go ahead and grab that, and I'll just give you a little comparison of what this comb does versus the other comb. So I'm going to do a comparison, see how fast we can be. So that was pretty dang quick for me. And it's super diffused still. It reminds me kind of if you do the 3D balayage comb closer to the root. I'm going to compare that really fast. I'm just going to take this hair, kind of pull it forward a little bit and pull this hair over so I know my separation. And now I'm going to take that 3D balayage comb and bring it up just a little bit closer to the root. Get a good section that's nice and straight first. So the 3D balayage comb closer to the root doesn't give as much of a tease, and you do have to pull down on these ends to get the separation, and I like to stick my finger in the middle and then pull it up. So to me, that kind of reminds me of the way that this comb pulled, and then when I pull it over, there's more hair on this side because it's a little thicker, but it's pretty dang even. I'm going to twist this over just to see what it looks like on the top with this comb. So this was the top section. To me, it's not nearly as even as the 3D balayage comb. So this is the 3D balayage comb. It's pretty even. Where this one, not as even. It looks like with how the teeth are that it would actually give a uniform highlight. But I think what happens is when you press down is that these teeth move because they are really flexible, where the 3D balayage comb is not nearly as flexible. Like you're only going to see movement at the very root of the teeth. You're not going to see it down here because they're thicker, where this one, because they have more length, I think there's just a little bit more flexibility there, which is causing, as I'm pressing down, because we're not robots, so we can't press down like in an exact downward angle. So I think because I'm moving a little bit, that there is a little bit of discrepancy here with the teeth, which is causing a little bit of unevenness with the actual highlights. But I do like it and how fast it is. Another thing that I do like too is that you can do multiple inserts. So if you're I really want this to be super nice and diffused, I'm gonna have it be like a little tiny itty bitty highlights, then you can do it as many times as you want. And I think that there is a bonus to that. If you have a client that just wants super organic, soft highlights coming in, then you can do something like this all over the head, and you're going to get a really, really soft, organic highlight. So Em and I have some final thoughts on the comb. And for me, I like it. I would definitely use it, especially if you spend over $30 on it. You're going to use it, because who would spend over $30 on something that you use one time and ultimately throw away? I'm going to use it a bunch of times, and I'm only going to stop using it if I feel like it's not just ergonomic to me. My shoulder starts hurting, my wrist starts hurting because it is heavier than what I'm used to. That would be a reason that I would maybe stop using it, or if it broke, or if it just was not performing how it should. And I think ultimately, I would still say, for me, with how heavy it is, with how it's not maybe as even with the highlighting, I would probably put it at 3 stars right now, just for how I feel about it. But I think that it is a tool that I would definitely give a try. I don't know if I would buy a bunch of them like I have the 3D balayage comb, but I'll give it a go, and we'll just see how it looks. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram. I will be using it so you can see what the actual results are. And if you're a member inside Lumiere University, then you will probably see me doing this comb, using this comb in a class, because why the heck not? Well, I hope that you enjoyed this product review. Make sure that you hit subscribe. You'll see more of my stuff in my channel, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll see you on the next one, friend.